So I'm getting ready to do the Journeys off-road 2-inch lift kit. I'm just gonna put these in today. I got the shackles, so I'll probably just get to the bumper and the spacers. First thing, take the bumper off. You gotta remove the bolt there. There's a bolt up here. And then there's these plugs that are up underneath the bumper. You try to hold this flat part still while pulling this plug down. You can kind of use a screwdriver to wedge it around. And then you're gonna do the grill. And that's where I'm at now. So I'm just gonna remove the grill, the bumper, this air intake, the fan shroud, and then the lower fan shroud. To cut the lower fan shroud to make room for the lift. Okay. So you're gonna remove the bumper, metal bumper, the 4 bolts there. Make sure your wheels are chopped all around if you can. And you're gonna remove the air intake. Pretty easy right there. Just everything else pops out. And then the shroud bolts are down there on each side. And you can access the lower shroud so you can cut it. Okay, so I got the fan shroud out. Not too much trouble. It was easier to pull the whole intake air out from back there. Just a flathead, small flathead, and get that clamp off, and then the top came out pretty easy. And then before you take the bottom out, just scribe a mark kind of where you're gonna cut. And you could almost use the dirt to do that. I'm gonna try, I have snips, like 10 snips, and I'm just gonna cut the plastic with scissors, heavy duty scissors, or a jigsaw. And then when it's in here, you just rotate it out this way, and you can just rotate it back in. That's the first one right in the front. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen all 6 and just make sure I can break all 6 of the bolts first before I start getting into it, because if I can't loosen all 6, there's no point in moving forward from there. So that's what I'm up to at the moment, and I'll check in with you. Hopefully everything breaks. Okay, so there's 6 of these, if you don't know already. The 2, they're all easy to get to, midway in the van. This is a different size, the center one. And then, like I said, I'm gonna loosen all of one side most of the way, and then completely take out the other side. Halfway through with that. I just wanted to give you the under the van perspective, and then the 2 all the way in the front, which you can see from the front when you take the bumper off. Okay, so I got the spacers in, and now I'm just centering, trying to center them over before I tighten them down. I actually pulled the jack out, and this is still loose, which means that this is almost hanging from the chassis. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just centering the blocks before I finish tightening them and giving them a little whack into place. Okay, so this is what I did with the jack. This is all screwed together. The crib, and then I just jacked right next to this. I took that bumper bracket off so that can sit nice there, and that worked perfect. Once there's enough space here, there's plenty of space back there. Now I loosened this side already, but I didn't take them out all the way. Everything lined up good for me. Everything seemed like it went back down where it was. And you can tap on these to get them to sit. There's a little bit of play there. And you can kind of tap on them to get centered. Loosen the one side, and then do the other side, and then you can come tighten that, and then come back and get this one, because otherwise the chassis is gonna move, and you won't be able to realign them. And don't cross thread your bolts. Take your time and back, reverse thread, and then start again. But don't cross thread them. Probably should have started with this. I caught it in time. It's the L-shaped parking brake cable on the driver's side of the transmission crossmember. I'm just gonna let you read this so you can pause and read the whole thing if you need to. And I'm going to show you that brake L-shaped bracket. Well, here's the transmission crossmember, and then I believe this is the bracket, and you can see that hunk of metal there will actually hit this on its way up, because this is attached to the frame of the body. And then this is going to go up, and you're going to bump that. So I believe this is what they're asking to unbolt. So I'm going to do that before I continue the lift, because I just started to, and then I went and I remembered that, you know what, there's a brake relocation bracket. Let me go check it out and make sure I'm not doing something stupid. And I was about to, so there it is. Well, I got lucky with this van because there was no rust really on those bolts. All the vans have this kind of rust, but if you're in the snow, it's way worse. And I didn't have any of that. So that was pretty easy for me. I'm gonna drop this jack and see what this thing looks like. Honestly, if you don't have a lot of weight, you could get away with the leaf springs for 2 inches in the back with a helper spring or 2 helper springs, and that'll give you your 2 to 3 inches in the back. You're not like carrying concrete, things like that. And then get these load carrying shocks, and you can have them put them on at the garage. I can't imagine it costs that much money. It's just easier to have them do it because there's a lot of pressure on those shocks and they're hard to get in there. But between that, the leaf spring, and then the helper spring on top, and then these 2 inch lifts, you're not gonna have to do the shackles. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, the front's sitting taller for sure. Well, it's got to settle. It's got to settle, and it will. But it is sitting a little taller than the back, even though I already got 2 inches in the back. So I guess I'll wind up doing the shackles. Sweet, I'm gonna put this back together. So this bumper relocation, you pull these and you switch this up to here, and then they give you a relocation, kind of a grommet kit thing to help reinforce this connection. Let's get it. Let's see. Yeah, so this just gets bolted here, and then, or on the inside, I'll check the directions. And then this makes up the space for that up top to, you know, create the space here. And then you move the bumper up 2 inches. So that's what's next. Okay, so the spacer they give you goes up here with the original bolt, because you got the factory nuts on the other side. And then the bolt they give you finishes off where the original bolts were. And then you use this bracket to carry the rigidity of, you know, making this square so this is not flapping around up or down. I put as much upward pressure on this as I tightened it as I could, because I figured that was what was going to be original. It looks off here, but it may just be this bracket. And if not, I guess I can come back in here and adjust it, but I lifted this up as much as I could as I tightened this. Otherwise it like slumps down like this. There's a lot of play in this. That's the whole point of this bracket, is to take out, this bracket. Yeah, so I won't show you everything, but I just lifted this. Once it's all in, it's sort of, you could feel it, it'll hit, and then you can lift that. I think that's factory setting. Okay. Okay, so remember when I was doing the bumper, when I was setting those bolts? No, I can't really see so well. Well, good news is I can access them, because this is how far it's out. This is supposed to be there. It's like almost a full inch away. This is supposed to be here. And so, and there was a lot of pressure when I was putting this grill on. So I could take the whole grill off, take this off, and then get to these, but I'm thinking since it's already on, and I can gauge just how far it all needs to go. I think there was a big space here. Maybe like on top of this, there was like maybe another 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch of space, and then that's just gone over there. That's probably because I wound up tilting this too far up. No real way of knowing until it's actually on there, then you can see how bad it is. So if you're gonna do it ahead of time, you might wanna set it up. Maybe it had something to do with squaring that bracket to itself there. It was a little out of square. So, yeah, I gotta loosen these bolts where the bumper bracket was to get this all right. This is misaligned. This is supposed to be here. That is supposed to be, you know, here, and that space should be bigger. It should be dropped down. Good news is I can get to it still. You could set it up ahead of time, or just leave these loose and then come back and tighten them later. Might be the trick. Once you get the grill on, you could tell, and you start putting this all back together. All right, wish me luck.